Hey, this is Tiger. Welcome to the stream. AJ, good evening to you as well. CD Radar, Dobrý den, Dobra večer, and yeah, good evening to everyone. Hello, guys. We are doing something new today. We're checking out some stuff that is not officially in the game. Usually I'm quite reluctant using mods and everything because I want to see how the game looks as it comes out of the box, but my friend OpenMinded managed that I got a free key for a service that a person created, an ebula service for the German routes in Train Sim World, making use of the API interface that we have for a couple of months already. It has been around, I think, and this thing you can actually use to synchronize an ebula application with your game time and with the distance that your train traveled. And yeah, this thing is making use of those capabilities to provide us with an ebula screen. Ronny der TF, ebula, where digitaler Fahrplan? Yeah. If we actually knew enough about the digitaler Fahrplan to recreate it, maybe he will come. But nice to see you, Ronny. Very nice to see you. Well, this is what it looks like. I can show you. Or at least I would like to show you, because at the moment I cannot see it in the display. You just know when to show up the CD radar. This is so true. But why does it not show now where the ebula is? It is confusing. It used to be here when I practiced. Generally, circuit breaker is out on the 4/12 already, says Ronnie. Yeah, there is a circuit breaker out on my ebula thing now, because actually I prepared it and I worked, and now it is not working anymore. So it is Tharandter Rampe that we want to run. Why Tharandter Rampe? Because we have not done it in a couple of years almost, and it was the route when OpenMinded and me first built our own ebula tool that could not make use of an API, of an interface, and so we always had the problem that we had to manually adjust. So what is the thing now? This is the service that I want to play, and a disclaimer, obviously I got the keys provided by DTG for being an ambassador, and I got free access, promo access to the online-ebula DE service. You can see how it works. It is running here on my screen, but for whatever reason, now it is picked up. Sometimes it just needs a little running. So this is what it looks like at the moment. I already switched it to the service overview, where you can see what data is there in this for this service. At the moment we are 1440 minutes late because it is a service that starts in the morning. Yeah, this is what we are trying out now in this service. As soon as I start the service, it is supposed to adjust itself. I hope it is. Everything is connected. It looks good actually, but now again you can't see it for whatever reason. This is a bit confusing now, but I guess this is not the problem of this ebula thingy, but of my OBS and the way that OBS treats things. So let's just try to figure this out. Dresden, Tharandter Rampe. And Ronnie was talking, they clipped it and it has been covered up with a magnet tablet holder for the digital timetable. So this is where the circuit breaker on the ICE 412 went to. So it was this service that I wanted to play, and it was the service with the number 17315. That one. Maybe not in February, because I want it to be a bit more clear so that people can see things. And let's start it while I am actually figuring out what the problem is with my Ebula thingy here. Enjoying the weekend and looking forward to a Tiger stream, says Spectre. That is nice. So on why? Now we can see it again. Somehow it always waits for this window to be activated, as it seems. So, Ebula is so ancient, says Ronnie. Yeah, well, maybe Transcend World decided to skip this step of evolution. Nevertheless, it is there. This online Ebula thingy is a subscription model. It charges you $2 a month or 20 a year. There is a free tryout thingy, and I can repeat myself. OpenMinded managed so that I have a free promo access, and yeah, well, I will use it on my stream. I will show it to you. Everyone can judge for themselves. So what I'm doing here at the moment, I am picking the service that we want to run. We have a couple of routes here: Bremen, Oldenburg, Dresden, Chemnitz, Dresden, Riesa, Frankfurt, Fulda, Frankfurt, Wiesbaden. There's Frankfurt S-Bahn. Even some Austrian stuff, like the Semmeringbahn is also here. And Dresden Chemnitz is what we would use and choose, and then you can pick your service. And then we have the service here. At the moment, yeah, it started with the time, but it will adjust as soon as I'm booting into my game and start the service. So, moin Akura, Ebola I see, yes. If it is too small for you to see it on your screen, you have to complain. I can make it a bit bigger, but then you don't see that much of my game anymore. That is a bit the problem with it. I actually played around anyway to put it in a position where you can see enough of it, and it is still not blocking too much of the screen. So you can't see the game telling you where we are supposed to go, and this is what the Ebola does in the meantime. Does it have Lars actually interpreted, or is it also just the EBU? It is also an EBU, actually. OpenMinded told me that he was trying, this person who produced this piece of software, to integrate the random TSRs that we have in the game, so that we at least get some kind of a message up front where we have to expect them. But so far it is not there, and there is no La in it. And of course it's quite small on the tablet, but okay. Oh, if you're watching on the tablet, yeah. Actually, it is meant to be used on a tablet for most immersion, actually, and I have it on the second screen now, but I cannot stream a second screen, obviously. Otherwise, everything is getting smaller and smaller. And Ronnie says, I meant it wasn't there in real life, so I'd best say that way, I guess. Yeah. I guess this is what they are aiming for. We have some buttons that are not there in real life, like the plus 5 seconds and minus 5 seconds is for moving this thing around. So it's actually quite elaborate in many ways. It can give you your delay. You can see it here. We will see how that works with the energy consumed. You can switch to G&T profile. You can switch into the track for the opposite direction if it is sending you there with the side time button. You can switch from this automatic connection via the API to time connection, so you have to adjust manually or manual movement of the diamond along. for those who wonder, we are reading this from bottom to the top. So this is where we are at the moment, and this is what's coming up, and it is like, yeah, space invaders coming towards you, and you have to keep track with what is coming down on you from the top, or a lot of games work that way. Tetris as well, most of the versions that I know at least. Yeah, I won't open this time thingy because then you can see part of my API key that you have to insert if you want to connect it. You have to run a program, a client that you get from this website. What is a bit of a niggle in my opinion, because it is a piece of uncertified software that you have to run, and it takes your API and then it connects with the databases on this online-ebula side, and so you can get all the different timetables in this thing. With the FSD button, you can see the data, you can see where you are supposed to stop. You can see that is actually quite a lot of stops, and at what time this happens. You can see your Mindestbremshundertstel, your maximum velocity for our 143. Yeah. PZBO, obviously. And then you can switch back to the display. GNT we won't run because we are not running on the 612 or any other train that can run GNT. You can see here in this thing that you see this yen sign for the end of the anschließende Weichenbereich. You see signal designations. You can see where you have to stop. Those are the stopping times, and there is even a dark mode, what is also very nice because then I can read it much better. Yeah, and it is supposed to adjust the time automatically. I will move it in front of my OBS, so in case anything goes wrong, please let me know in the chat. I have this chat open and this ebula thing open, but I can't see too much things on at the same time. FFS can't even looks pretty accurate for the most part, he says. Looks interesting. Can you play Snake on it as well? I have not tried yet. Actually, I was quite happy that I got it connected with my game. If you keep it in white day mode, we will have personal problems. No problem. We will have it in dark mode. If that is okay, even that we are running in the day. Okay, let's see if it adjusts to, well, it actually keeps adjusting. See, it's always running 4 seconds, then it gets an adjusting jolt from the API, and it sets it back to 10:28, and this is where we actually start our service, and I have to figure out how to set up my 143. I haven't been on a locomotive like this for quite some time. This is where the reverser handle goes in, right? And this is the door control. But we want to open the doors on the left side, most probably. Then for the safety systems, we have to trudge back here. Battery is on. Somewhere we need PZBO is okay. Is okay. CIFA on, PZB on. Now we should be okay safety system wise. First time I saw the 403 displays in day mode, I thought the screen froze. Well, it is a thing that people say nobody uses it in day mode actually. Auxiliary control, traction, running program, instrument lights, and then I have my signal lights. We actually have to switch each and every one by hand. And then let's see if we got a proper lighting. Yes. At the end we have our Zugschluss. Time is coordinated. It is giving us a 0 speed at the moment, what is nice because we can't go yet. It is strictly forbidden to leave a station before the time that is stated in the timetable. I've seen it like once and gave the other driver a funny look. He just told me it was just tugging your leg. It looks dumb, doesn't it? He said, alright. And let's see. Oh, we did not unlock our brakes yet. That we should do. Don't even have the main brake pipe full. Let's see. I already reduced the force selector a bit. Couldn't do it. I have to still release the brakes more. And now let's see if we can draw some power. Still can't draw some power. What is the problem? Are the doors not closed properly? No, it looks closed. Well. Did I forget something? I can use the Anfahrbremse if I don't want my train to roll away. It should actually start without. Isn't there some weird switch for something? My good guys. Let's have a... On the left, I still have a traction lock, so... It is not surprising. Handbrake is released, compressor, main circuit breaker, panto. We have panto up. Headlights is good, cab lights, Heizung. Maybe the door control was a bit of a problem. Die Lüfter manuell. Ah, you can hear the cooler fans. And now it works. So apparently there was a problem with this. Would actually be amazing if it was a lüfter thingy. No Fahrmotorlüfter, no power. That makes sense, but I've never actually seen this behavior on this train. Alright, our diamond moved into the 80 kilometers. Arranged. And well, I would... Yeah, both were right. You were totally right, CD Raider. It was some weird switch on the left. Actually, I think it was something to do with... with the doors. Maybe it was something with the doors, right? I put it maybe the wrong way around, Acura. But I prefer the explanation with the blowers. That would be nice. Turn them off next station and try again just out of curiosity. I will. I definitely will. So why is there no arrival time? Because we are already late. 2 minutes and 0.1 and 10 seconds and X. City Radar says, I guess it was the doors. I think that is it. We will probably switch the blowers back to automatic. Got to get used to this funny traction control on the 143. It was a passenger standing in the door, says Acura. Yeah, maybe that. And now we forced him out. This happens if you don't use your keyboard shorts for the door control and think, oh, it is more immersive to do it properly. Lock the doors and blower back to automatic traction control. And I use the Anfahrbremse because this locomotive is traditionally always a bit fiddly when it comes to some air remaining in the brake cylinders. That is not door close position. I guess this is yeah, doorknob is facing the wrong way. Maybe this is actually the case. So it was, after all, no poor Tiger's fault. Nevertheless, we know now. Let's see, here is the 11. For the 110. Just always blame Trainsim World, yes. And the 112. In real life you always blame the Infrago, and we always blame Trainsim World. Rightfully so, sorry. For this next stop, we actually have to slow down to 100. Running downhill. Have to use the speed control and the power selector a bit to work as dynamic brake only. Approaching Niederwiesa. 90 announced. That's not our problem, actually. With the speed control on the 143, you can always pull down the velocity nicely to the 40 before you hit the platform. And bring it down even further to approach the stop. And then the rest we want to do with the train brake. With a bit of fiddling, we might get there. Just remember to put the speed selector to off, otherwise this thing won't start. And then release the Anfahrbremse. So, have you tried 136 yet? No, CD Radar, but I bought it. Actually, even though I did not have any time to try it, run it, or do anything with it. I downloaded it, and I downloaded a lot of updates for SimRail. But this is something for next week. This weekend I had to record 2 videos for a DTG event that is coming up. But so far it is all under wraps. Flöha. Interesting. We can accelerate to 120 as soon as the train has passed. Hey, us Red Leader, nice to see you. This stream reminds me that compared to recent Dresden, Therandter Rampe is quite uninspired and not time of day 3 or 4. That is true. It is still a bit oldish. It needs a facelift. Okay, I need to break this with a train brake. Otherwise we won't make it. With the dynamic brake alone. Running into Flöha. Sir Digby, hey Tiger Null, new here, lurking in the back seat. So nice to have you around. Actually, it's not even enough to pull us below the 60 that is signaled here. And München-Augsburg needs a facelift too. Probably would be great for with a few fixes and an updated timetable. München-Augsburg, yes, it is a huge bunch of track. München-Augsburg. So we're actually slumping around a bit. And we're falling behind more and more. We might be late, but we are completely on time. Not on time, on the right spot. Anfahrbremse. Nullstellung. Lock the doors. Force selector to 30. Always takes some time to lock the doors, doesn't it? Can start with 60 here. Inspector, he's looking forward to the Ludmilla in Trains in World 10. Rain. So, soon as we are back in our 80 track again, 4 minutes late. Can't have it all. And Ronnie is still waiting for the MTD fix. On the ICE-1. Increase to 90. What's the length of our train, by the way? 70 meters, alright. There's 2 traction motors too much. Too many. And increase to 100. And we can very nicely see on our Ebula how the line speed is increasing. But unfortunately for us, we have to stop that. And you can see it always needs for the tap changer to slow down or count down before this train can apply the dynamic brake. So if you're happily applying power, and then you realize, oh, there is a station I should stop at, then it's a bit difficult. So important, die Anfahrbremse. So sorry if I'm a bit slow with the chat today, because it is partly covered with this Ebula thingy that we're trying out today. Oederan. On the wet track, our traction force meter is swimming a bit, so we have to reduce the traction force a bit. So, across the bridge. Well, it could be a nice DLC with a bit of a facelift. We are approaching an 80 reduction. Actually, with a bit of more route knowledge, you would probably have your tap changer count down before you approach a speed changing point like this. I also remember the 411 used to show. Yeah, it did. But this is actually a thing that they fixed after my forum entry. Yeah, you will get your 147 Spectre soon. No speed increase until we get to Oederan. Well, there is not really a lot to gain with those station stops, right? We arrive at 48.4 and are supposed to leave at 49.0. No wonder that we are a bit pressed for time. At least the rain stopped. S-Bahn services with locals is always like this, you say. Well, I remember Oederan. Oederan is a bit of a nasty stop because you come uphill all the way, then you're going across a little grade and then going downhill into the station for the last couple of 100 meters or 100 meters only. So I brake late, really late this time. 5.1 minutes late. Actually, if we want to make up some time, then we have to start closing the doors earlier. Get everything done. Now it starts even without releasing the Anfahrbremse. Still in the 90. For that, actually, the Ebula thing is great, so check what line speed you're in when leaving the station, in case you forgot. The rain has stopped. Yeah, well, it always starts again, TD Radar. And you can be docked for not using the wipers in the rain, but you cannot be docked for using the wipers if there is no rain. Increase to 110 incoming. And now we actually have a bit to go to Frankenstein in Sachsen. Now the Ebula was a bit fast. Speed profile is really nice on this route because it changes so often. Also an interesting expected this H-table pack of one coming soon, and it costs €15.99. Siemens engineers didn't want us to wipe a dry window, so they made a function every time the wiper is turned on. It starts spraying water, which is very useful in the rain to wet the window even more. Alright. Reduction to 100 incoming. Maybe I missed it because I was reading the chat. There it is. And then it climbs back to 120 until I get to Frankenstein. We have Frankenstein in Sachsen and we have Frankenstein in der Pfalz on the Pfälzische Ludwigsbahn. So at least 2 Frankensteins in Transom World. More Frankensteins than the ICE 3 Neo. Yeah, but again, We can't really enjoy the 120 because we have to stop. At Frankenstein. Maybe we even have to brake a bit harder than this. No, it works. Actually, if you want to stay on time with the train. Whoa, this train pulls and pulls and pulls here. You probably have to brake a bit harder. Lock and load. Oh, well, our delay of 6 minutes dropped back to 4.1. Maybe I should try braking late like this. More of Kleinschirma. No speed change until then. And 3.4. And we don't stop really long at Kleinschirma. You can see it on the Ebula. We arrive at 10:58.0 and we leave at 10:58.0. Der Zug hat 0 Sekunden Aufenthalt. For real, aren't there H-Tafeln in this route? Are there no H-Tafeln in Saxony? There are H-Tafeln in Saxony, but also in real life, not every platform has an H-Tafel. In the operating rules, there's a general rule where to stop your train at the platform, with a bit of leeway to decide, or for the drivers to decide where to stop, as long as the whole train is on the platform, and then it is more or less a thing that only if you want to order the trains to stop at a certain point, that you will put up the H-Tafel. Small screener and free mountain, says Spectre. He's back to translating the Saxon names into Anglo-Saxon. Yeah, well, I did not really live up to my promise that I will brake harder. I always like it if the train comes to a soft spot exactly where it is supposed to stop. With a grinding halt. 60, 0, Anfahrbremse, and close the doors. Still running in 120, but soon enough we have to slow down to 100. And again the spell of rain. And we are back to 6 minutes 4 late. Oh, read. First we have to go through a go via point before we get to Freiberg. It's a bit ahead, the Ebula. Always takes a little bit longer to get to the speed changing points. Freiberg, Sachsen, 3 kilometers. This time we actually have 20 seconds to stop there. Maybe we get a signal before we get to Freiberg. Possible that we have to go in a loop line there. Yeah, but if you want to drive this service here with less delay than I am accumulating at the moment, then you have to really practice to get those station stops. Chuck, without losing any time. And brake late. Braking late, especially when you're running downhill, is a tricky thing to do, though. Freiberg is a bit like the halfway point. Muldenhütten. Spectre, what is the Anglo-Saxon version of Muldenhütten? Row huts. Yeah, maybe. Sounds reasonable at any rate. Every time you add the train brake on, you gotta make sure that you get your speed selector into Nullstellung again. Otherwise you won't provide any traction force. But we're very close to Muldenhütten already. Dent houses, Acura. Yeah, that also makes sense. Actually, I was thinking of Dent. Here is the 70 that was announced before, and that gave us 1000 hertz. That is still flashing. We only have 2 Dostos. This is why we are so short. Did not even check how many cars we have. But this was already in the Fahrplan. Next stop is Niederbobritzsch. Actually went too fast. Here's the 90. Lower Bob crack. Nobody knows what that actually means. Bobritzsch. And again, only 10 seconds to stop at Muldenhütten. Ah, no. We already passed Muldenhütten, it just did not scroll down. Niederbobritzsch is again a stop with 0 Sekunden Aufenthalt. Arrival time equals departure time. That makes it incredibly hard to stay on time. So we will get an increase to 120 before we get there. By the way, guys, do you see any change to the stream quality? Is there less blurring and more lagging, or the other way around? Because I fiddled a bit around with my settings when recording the videos, and I'd be curious to know whether this affects the stream. Yours, so nice to see you. He says, hi Mr. Tigerways. Hope you are well, good to see you. Yes, good to see you. Well, we're doing our stuff. And Red Leader, I think it looks somewhat better than it used to. That is good to hear. Inspector, the stream looks nice and smooth to me. Sound is okay as well. So actually, the loco is blending in the dynamic brake on its own. So maybe I go back to just brake this train with the train brake and set the speed selector to 0. Yeah, we're bobbing around the 6-7 minutes delay, so we definitely lost our time in the beginning of this run. And Akkurat, to me it feels like there is less compression or a higher bitrate by some resolution. That is totally correct. It should be a higher bitrate. I had trouble with the internet connection with a higher bitrate before, but now that it is or has been quite stable for some time, I thought I can make use of my new GPU and pump it up a bit. So unless it gets really laggy again, at some time I will just keep it up. So 120 will come to an end soon and slow down to 90. SX12 coming from the opposite direction. Thunderstorm. Klingenberg-Colmnitz. Wipers have only one setting on, apart from off. Thunderstorm in Blade Mountain, yeah. But you did not translate the Colmnitz. Now we got the 1000 Hertz for the 90, have to slow down below the 80. Is one of the most annoying things in PZB. We should have slowed down below the 105 before this happens, but now we are in it for the 1000 Hertz. And 9 minutes late, says our Ebula. Well, it is as it is. We can't help. That looks dangerous, good man, with your mobile phone. And 750 points again? What's wrong? Am I back on time already? No. According to the old scoring system, I should be on time to get 750 points. There is another reduction to 80 incoming. At any rate, I can't go faster than 95, so I won't get 1000 Hertz. Monitoring for that. LF6 sign here, see? I overshot a bit going down here. Next stop will be at Edle Krone. That's probably also a station name that is after some inn, like the Weintraube in Radebeul. Oh, maybe I should have slowed down to the 80 anyway. I was so happy that I don't have to slow down for the PCB, but for the AT I have to slow down. Obviously. How does the online-ebula know that you have stopped in Noble Crown? Telemetry? From what they told me, and hello ASR to you, the API can deliver the distance that the train has traveled and compare it to the time that has elapsed. It should be able to calculate where we are and whether we stopped anywhere. At any rate, it can provide a time distance profile. And here's the 90 again. We have to slow down to 70 soonish, or at least in a bit. If you're looking at the ebula too much, then your speed is running out of control. 70 gives us 1000 hertz whatsoever. Now it is lagging a bit behind the ebula. No, it's not. We are still approaching the 70, so that's correct. Here's 70, and we are there, yeah. All good. Going through the tunnel first. What we are actually doing, or have been doing for the last couple of minutes, is running down the Tharandter Rampe. That is the namesake for this route. No, it's not. We're still not. Oh yeah, we are. Tharandter is at the foot, and we're coming from Chemnitz. So we are running down. The Rampe. Here's the tunnel, Edle tunnel. Doesn't actually look so bad, except for that you can't see the weather on the outside, but that is how it is on those old thingies. Now I'm actually braking really late, and still the train can do it, so next time we will just brake harder. Yeah, but there is almost no way to not overshoot if we are trying to get up to speed when we're running downhill. This our cruise control thing it can't do. No, it's accelerating or increasing to 90 anyway. And we have to stop at Tharandter. Well, we are limited to 60 before we get there. In track speed. Around the home signal for Therandter. Whether we get 1000 hertz. And here is the LF6 to go with it. That should give us another 1000 hertz. And we are almost 10, we are exactly 10 minutes late. Repeater for the 60. $60 on the signal and 60 on the LF7. So signal speed as well as line speed drops to 60. And we are approaching Tharandter. Line speed increases to 11 and to 110 respectively again. But the signal speed of 60 is still valid, so that we can run into the loop line, as you can see here. And off we go at 60. Freital-Hainsberg West will be the next. Yes. If the locomotives don't actually give a reading and 10.4 minutes doesn't surprise you, what is fair? Well, actually, we were handicapped at the start because I did something wrong with the doors, so we were late already at the start. Free Valley Grove Mountain West. Yeah, that makes sense. That actually works better. And the 163 when? Next week, probably. Next week. Increase to 100 for our little train. Are we stopping? Freital-Hainsberg. Okay, there is not really a lot of room to get on. And knowing Simrail Dev, says ASRTO, they probably release the DLC on Friday the 13th. What am I doing? Why not? Don't ask me, he said it was them that decided to release the game in early access on Friday the 13th of January 2023 and then release the full game on Friday the 13th of December. Alright, why not? Why not? Why not? 100 we are. By the way, says Red Leader, what are the requirements for the February mastery in Trains in World? I have no idea. To be fair, the monthly masteries, I did not really look at them. ever after the first thing, maybe. There's also Friday. Yeah, we actually have 2 months in a row with Friday the 13th, right? We have February and March. So, enough opportunity for them to release stuff. $120, but already reduced to 110. Freital-Potschappel. ASRTO guesses that Friday the 13th of March of 2026 will see the release of the M2 Warsaw Metro Line DLC. Why not? Worse things than that. Tier 1, play 1 free roam and play 5 timetables as red leader. Alright. Tier 2 can't see until I do Tier 1. Alright. Why is the loco shaking like this? Because I'm actually applying the brakes while it is still trying to apply power, and I think this makes it shake. Probably because it is rather lightweight compared to the Dosto cars. Did it get nervous, or was it cold? Well, it actually is around like 80-85 tons, so that is normal weight for a loco. Even if it looks so fragile. I mean, it's basically a container with wheels and traction motors. Well, yeah. That's what a loco is, isn't it? Dresden-Plauen is the next stop, and we actually have 3.2 kilometers to go until we get there. But what I really like in this route is that it has a highly dynamic profile gradient as well as speed. And I am apparently on GSM area, that is right. That's what it says. Whether it can say anything else, I don't know. Here's Spectre for you. Oh no, he's a... The Dark Ages of Sky. Okay. On Saturday, Simrail update added another GSM-R sign, but this time in Dabrova Gurnica, natürlich. Sadly, this morning got patched up and deleted. I see. Ja, ja, natürlich. Gurnica. Obviously. $11 million. Oh my god. Well, this is really a run where you have to fight for your time. Dresden-Plauen, and the weather is good again. That used to be an FPS sync at the time. And it still is. I don't know what is lurking around those orange roofs. That was the horn instead of the Anfahrbremse. Oh, good. So, next stop is already Dresden Hauptbahnhof. We will get a slowdown from our 70 line speed. We are already getting an HL signal that announces a slowdown to 40. In this case to 40, as we know, most probably to 40. Inspector says for him Dresden is like the most beautiful big city in Germany. I know. And bridge braking, I guess, is brake bypass. Yeah, but here the captions are wrong. Anfahrbremse is correct, but the brake bridging is the opposite setting, actually. So I'm using the starting brake, the Anfahrbremse, and the caption here by mistake says brake bridging, or would be moving it to the opposite direction. 40 and slow. What's all the smoke? I don't know where there's smoke. I was not paying attention to the smoke. HL signal in the house. Yes, HL signals and so on. And for our HL signal, we get a KS repeater, as you can see. So no problem combining. And then in KS2, Kennziffer 4, and the, what is it, status 13 indicator that you can only find in Eastern Germany, that we are running in a dead-end track. Well, we should not get on a Kopfbahnhof, but since Dresden Hauptbahnhof has some tracks that run through, I guess it is not a Kopfbahnhof in this sense. Ronnie is not here anymore, so I can't confirm. Asatio says, I think if that's the joke that I think it is, I think I understand why German humor is not very popular. No, the signal system is called HL. And German humor is special indeed, yes. It was so special that I did not even understand what ASRTO meant that could have been intended as a joke. Well, 12 minutes late. Blimey. Well, we weren't joking, at any rate. Come on, pull the train a bit longer. We have 3 meters to go, otherwise the train won't fit in the hall. It won't fit in the house. Nobody understood it, so he thought that this is a German joke. That's interesting. Alright, we made it to Dresden Hauptbahnhof. 12 minutes delay. Well, the Ebula did a nice job, I think. Warum muss man in der Apotheke leise bleiben, weil sonst die Schlaftabletten aufwachen? Yeah, that's true. If you actually want to be leise in the Apotheke. Though, if you want to really drive a hard service, then you can do this. This is really challenging to not fall back too fast. You have to stay focused from the beginning, and you have really short stopping times. Get your loco back again, and the closing the door sequence takes some time. Yeah, German jokes are sometimes they are not so bad, but I can understand it. That people are skeptical. So, let's move my Ebula out of the way. So did you see the Ebula until the end, or did I finally kill it again? No, it's only there if I minimize it, it actually vanishes. Interesting. Good. At least it was there. we could test it. Thanks again for giving me this promo access. Again, this Ebula online thing, you can see the URL where you can find it is a prescription model, and then you have access of all the Ebula databases that are around. And are you streaming on Thursday as well, as asks ASR to you? Maybe I will. I have to see if I get around. It is still in the countdown because I streamed last Thursday and I forgot to delete it. So maybe I will actually live up to my automatic promise and stream on Thursday. But I will keep you updated. Maybe I delete it if I don't get around with my other stuff. Let me know what you think about this online Ebula thingy. I think it's quite cool and quite cute. And yeah, makes use of the API that we have now in, or that we have for a couple of months already. But a lot of people are making use of it, and that's definitely a nice thing. And I have to practice with my 143 on this route if it ever gets a facelift to stay on time, and CD Radius is very cool. Yeah. Alright, thanks again, OpenMinded, for getting this to me and for organizing a free promo access to this. Cool as Acura, but just useful in DE. And in Austria, actually. Semmering, Salzburg. Don't know if Vorarlberg is in it as well. Let's check. You can that's what in it. Bremen-Oldenburg, Dresden-Chemnitz, Dresden-Riesa, Frankfurt-Fulda, Frankfurt-Wiesbaden, that is Frankfurt S-Bahn, Hagen-Finnentorp, that is Ruhr-Sieg-Nord, Hamburg-Lübeck, Innsbruck, Garmisch-Partenkirchen, so da ist die Mittenwaldbahn, Kassel-Würzburg, Schnellfahrstrecke, Köln-Aachen, Leipzig-Dresden, das ist die New One, Dresden-Chemnitz, Dresden-Riesa, ja, Dresden-Riesa und Dresden-Leipzig, Maintalbahn. You can find it on the bottom right in the disclaimer. That is the URL. It's not really a link, but if you manage to type it into your browser, then it works. Mainz-Koblenz ist die linke Rheinstrecke. Mannheim-Kaiserslautern, die Pfälzische Ludwigsbahn, Niedertalbahn, Rapid Transit, Dessau to Leipzig, Salzburg-Rosenheim, Semmering, Bahn in Austria, Stuttgart-Heilbronn. So Vorarlberg it is not. Alright. But quite a lot of stuff, and well, from what I understand, they are actually increasing the number of routes that are covered with it. And Stuttgart-Heilbronn, the latest one, is in there too. Bottom right there of my stream. It says free keys provided by DTG and online-ebula.de. Put dot instead of a dot. I see NCD radar. Typed it. Very nice. And a red leader. Yeah. Got it deleted in the chat. And now he put the dot instead of the dot. That is it. Let me know your experiences if you can try it out. I think 3 services on the Schnellfahrstrecke Köln-Aachen. And yeah, CD Radar sent it. Perfect. Pinned. And we will see what we do next, what we find next, and the 163 on, it's a paid thing, yeah, it's a subscription model, $2 a month or 20 per year if I got it right. As always, you need to know what is worth it and what not. Guys, make the best of your lives. Thank you so much for bearing with me and going through this stream. It doesn't help that everything is in German and to non-German speakers. That is true. Maybe they can provide a translation. Sir Digby, Dankeschön. Spectre says, thanks for the stream, Tiger. See you guys. See you later. Dobru noc. Yes, a good night to you. Stay safe and see you soon.